Before we start talking about the top five print on demand principle, we need to understand one thing: composition. Now, what is composition? I know you might have had this word, you might not have had this word, but this is one of the most important words, the most important things for you to understand before we get into understanding the principles of design. So what is composition? Composition basically refers to the arrangement and the placement of visual elements within your design space. So basically, how your elements are arranged in a design space is what you call composition. Let me show you something here. I'm on Canva. I'm actually presenting this to you on Canva. So you see, this is a text, and this is a torn paper put here. This is a graphic. This is an image. There's a frame. This is zigzag wavy line. There's a smiley emoji here. There's text. So all this, if I select all of them like that, so all this is the composition. This is what composes of my design. It is composed in this design space over here. So that is what we call composition. Yes. Now, designing is all about creating a harmonious and a balanced composition that actually guides the viewer's eyes and creates this emphasis on places that you need emphasis, and guides the eyes and communicates exactly what you want to communicate. A good example here, you can see that I'm using this arrow to point back here. I'm using this smiley emoji to look down on this design and smile. So I'm also using this arrow to point your eyes here. So I'm using all these elements to visually guide your eyes in places that I want. For this particular side, on this side, you can see I put the torn paper here. And what is composition? This is a text layer. It's composed of a text layer. There's something down here like a chalk mark coming down, and then the text. So I've visually arranged everything in a way that would guide your eyes without losing it. So that is what composition is. Composition basically refers to the arrangement and the placement of visual elements within your design space. Now that you understand what a composition is, let's talk about the top 5 basic principles of composition. So for you to compose the image like that, for you to put text, let me just go back. For me to put an image like here, for me to do everything the way it is, there are rules that I followed for me to have this amazing design that you're looking at it like, wow, it is good. It's visually balanced. It's visually appealing. Looks nice. The colors are balanced and everything looks good. So what are these top 5 basic principles? So number 1, it's called the rule of thirds. Number 2, we have design hierarchy. Number 3, we have design balance. Number 4, we have negative space. And last but not least, we have the visual flow. So I want us to talk about, to handle all this one by one, and we're going to start with the rule of thirds. So what is the rule of thirds when it comes to designing? So the rule of thirds is a design principle that actually suggests dividing your design or image into 9 equal parts by 2 equally spaced horizontal lines and 2 equally spaced vertical lines. So a good example is that here you can see this image, 2 equally spaced horizontal lines here and 2 equally spaced vertical lines. So we've divided this image of this lady into 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good? Comprehende? Comprehende? Depending on where you're coming from. Good? We're good? Yeah. So yeah, type good. Comment good if you're good up to there. So the most important elements of your design should be placed along the lines or at the intersections. The most important element, that's the most important thing about the rule of thirds that you need to understand. So you divide your image into 2 equally spaced vertical and horizontal lines to create 9 boxes. And then you make sure that the most important parts of your image are actually placed along the lines or at the intersection. So what are the most important things on this image right now? The eyes, and you can see the eyes are along the lines, along this horizontal line and along this vertical line. And you can see as well, the food is along this line. You can see her hands along the line. So everything important has to be within this 9 square radius, or rather the boxes just has to be within this, you see. That's the rule of thirds. It's very, very important. It's a very, very important. And you'll notice this in all photographs. That's how you balance an image. Even in this old guy, you can see the eyes are on this horizontal line. You can see the ears touching the vertical line. You can see the nose on the vertical line. You can see the teeth at the intersection as well, at the middle of the intersection. The teeth are actually the middle and along the horizontal line. So it's like actually playing tic-tac-toe if you think about it. It's like playing X and O's. It's like you're playing X and O's. So that's the fastest way to remember the rule of thirds. Just play X and O's with your camera or your image. It actually balances your image, and if you space it properly, you'll actually win, just like tic-tac-toe. So that's the first rule of design. It's called the rule of thirds. Remember, just divide your image like a tic-tac-toe game and you're good. The second rule of design is called design hierarchy. So what is design hierarchy? So design hierarchy is a principle that actually helps arrange the elements in a design to show their order of importance. Now, in design hierarchy, the aim is to help guide the viewer's eyes towards the most important elements first. Now this can be achieved through various methods, like bigger elements are noticed fast, brighter colors are noticed fast, the contrasting colors are noticed fast. So this is some of the things that you need to look at when you want to highlight hierarchy. A good example on our image here is, you see, we're highlighting hierarchy by putting the big images, the big stones down and coming up. Here we can see hierarchy in different colors and depending and different placement. You can see our eyes are guided from top to bottom. Your eyes intrinsically are not guided from bottom to top when it comes to this, because that's how the design is guiding you. The first thing you look at, even when you look at this image, you want to look at the base, you look at the top. So it is a design principle that we follow when it comes to design. So that's the second design principle. Now, the third design principle is balance. Now, what is balance when it comes to design principle? Now, design balance refers to the distribution of elements within a design composition to create visual harmony and stability. It is very simple. It's as simple as just making sure that your design looks balanced, like the left and the right. Like good example here. You can see the stones on the left. They look balanced, but vis-a-vis when you're actually comparing it with the stone on the right. Because of the weight, you can see the size. You can see it's actually balanced, even if it might not be balanced. Now, it involves, when it comes to design balance, it doesn't just involve the size of the rock. It involves different things like color, like shape, like texture. And you make sure that you space them in a way that each and every element complements and distributes evenly with each other, so that it can actually complement on the aesthetic of the design. If the design is not balanced, it will not be aesthetically pleasing, and you'll notice it won't attract your eyes, or rather it will repel your eyes, and that's how bad it goes when it comes to a design. The next design principle we're talking about is negative space. Now, when it comes to design, negative space is very, very important. And this now negative space actually refers to the empty and unoccupied areas surrounding the main elements or the subject in a composition. Now, it's also known as the white space by different designers. Now, the negative space plays a very, very important role when it comes to print on demand designs and design as a whole, because it actually helps define the boundaries of the object. It helps create the contrast. It helps you separate the main object from the other object and establishes the kind of hierarchy that drawing requires for it to stand out. A good example here is the space. You can see here, there's nothing. This is the white space or the negative space in this image. So it's directing your eyes to the J, Q, and K playing cards. And you can see them very clearly, and all your attention is actually directed here because there's nothing else. And here, the first attention you're getting is in the sad. This sad wooden thing. What is this? This is looks like a pawn. Sad wooden pawn with a frowning emoji face with a low battery here. So the first thing that you're actually being attracted to is the sad face, and the next thing is the low battery icon. So that is the negative space. It's attracting. It's actually amplifying the fact that it's only one object. So all your attention is there. So negative space is very important. It's very big. One of the biggest companies in the world that is known for negative space, that is actually one of the biggest marketing angles because of having a negative space, is actually Google. If you go to google.com, you find the biggest negative space you'd find on any the big website like them. It's very rare to see a website getting the kind of traffic Google is getting and still have negative space. So that's one of the biggest winning points, that's the most simplistic yet most creative design when it comes to website is Google, because of their negative space. Yes. Well, another design principle, next design principle, last but not least, I'm sorry for that, is visual flow. Now, what is a visual flow? This one of the most important lessons that a lot of people get wrong. And it's very good that you're here to get it right. So visual flow, what is visual flow when it comes to design? Now, visual flow basically refers to the way that a viewer's eyes moves naturally through the composition or the layout. Now, you can actually design and you can actually guide someone's eyes literally by design, by choice, by how you lay your elements on a design layout. Now, it is intentional. It's very intentional. It's an intentional arrangement of visual elements such as lines, shapes, colors, and textures to guide the viewer's attention in a particular direction and sequence. So a very good example is this good image over here, the blue and the white. You can see the eyes are being directed at the middle, at the center of the image, because that's how the lines are guiding. The visual flow of the image is there. Another thing here, we can see that visual flow is from the foreground going all the way to the background. You can see the retro sunset. You can see the geometric shapes and all this going on. Everything and all these lines here just guiding your eyes towards the horizon for you to see this retro sunset, an amazing array of different colors. That is magenta, and this is magenta and turquoise color. Yeah, an amazing array of different colors. The orange going deep, that is yellow, something like that. Yeah, different colors, and they've blended this image perfectly just to visually attract and guide your eyes all the way from the foreground back deep into the background. And yeah, there we have it. Those are the top 5 basic principles of composition. Number 1, rule of thirds. Number 2, design hierarchy. Basic principles of composition, design, basic principles of design. Number 1, rule of thirds. Number 2, hierarchy. Number 3, design balance. Number 4, design negative space and design. Number 4. Number 5 is the visual flow. Should be basic principles of design composition. Yes, same thing. Yeah, let's wind up this lesson with some key takeaways. So, number 1, important for you to understand what design composition is. You understand what design composition is. Number 2, understanding how to guide the creative process. Now, if you understand all this, the 5 design principles, it will be much easier for you to guide your creative process. So you will not put a font on the left and then put an image on the right and fail to balance them properly with another element at the bottom and another at the center. You will not be confused, because now you know about design balance, you know about design hierarchy, you know about all these things. Number 3, understanding the basic composition principles. You understand the basic composition principles, design principles as well. Understanding the less is more, importance of the negative space or the white space. Less is more. Remember Google. We all love Google because it doesn't have a lot on its homepage. And last but not least, the importance of negative space. Less is more. Yes. Let's finish up with a quote. I love this quote. Listen to this. Good design is like a refrigerator. When it works, no one notices. But when it doesn't, it sure stinks. That is Irene Orr. Thank you very much for joining today's lesson, and I hope you've learned a thing or two about design to improve your print-on-demand designs, and yeah, for you to become a pro and have better design, more quality, and better selling designs out there, because you now understand the top 5 basic rules of design composition. Yeah, thank you very much. If you want to learn more about print-on-demand, about starting your own store, if you're 100% new in this industry, check out my live webinars going on right now. I'm teaching a class right now about print on demand, 100% free. Come in, let me teach you watch over my shoulder as I open a store, as I teach you everything from the get-go. Yeah, it's my small gift to you for staying up to this end of the show. Thank you very much. My good name is XTN Della, your favorite print-on-demand coach. And as usual, thank you very much for the privilege of your time. See you on the next lesson.